Next one, selection sort. The third sort, that is selection sort. So in this selection sort, one element is selected in the list. So that element is compared with the remaining all elements. So if this element is small than the remaining elements, it is placed in its place only. If any element is less than this element, then we have to swap with this element and remaining continue the same process. That is about the selection sort. See the selection sort, how it will happen. So one element is selected, that is found element, that is less than the selected element. If any selected element we have to select first. Suppose the first element is selected element for me. So if that element is greater than any element, so swap. If not, placed in its position. Okay. So now see how it will operate. See, in the first pass, we have to select the first element as the selected element. Now that selected element is compared with the next element. So 4 greater than 6 or 4 less than 6. 4 is less than 6. Means the 6 is bigger than the previous one. So condition failed. No need to swap these two elements. So in the next one, this selected element is same. Again it is compared with the next element. So now 4 is greater than 1 or less than 1. So 4 is greater than 1. So the 1 is minimum element here. So if any minimum element is occurred, so then the swap may happen. Okay. So now the condition is true. Here swap may happen here. See here, 1 is placed here, 4 is placed here. Now again, this is the selected one, the first one, whatever the element it may be. Okay. So now the selected position is compared with again the next position. Okay. So now 1 is less than 5. So means this is the highest element. Is need to swap these two elements? No. So condition false. There is no swap. Again in next phase, this one is compared with 8. Okay. Again 1 is minimum element or 8 is minimum element? 1 is minimum element. Obviously the condition is false here. So no need to swap. So now see. Now again this number is compared to 0. Now the comparison in between 1 and 0. So now this condition is 1, 0. Which is minimum element in these two? 0 is the minimum element. So now the condition is true and swap. There is a swap. So now 0 is placed here and 1 is placed here. The remaining elements are there. So now observe at the end of this pass what happened. The minimum element is placed in its right position. Is it right or not? But in case of bubble sort, what happened? Bubble sort. The largest element is placed here. Is it right? Do you observe that one? In bubble sort, the largest element is placed at the right position, end of the pass. But in case of selection sort, the minimum element is placed in its right place. Okay. So now coming to the second pass. So in second pass, is we need to compare this first element? No, because it is already sorted. Okay. So now the comparisons starts from second one. So now coming to the pass 2. So now see. So this is the selected one now. It is compared with next element. Okay. So now see. 6 greater than 4. Okay. So which one is minimum element? The second one. So that's why it is swapped with 6. So now see, 4 and 6 swapped. So now again this position is compared with next position. So now 4 greater than 5 or less than 5? 4 is less than 5. So there is no swap. The condition is false here, because it is higher element. So now see, next phase, the 4 is compared with next one. So now 4 is less than 8. So now the case is also false. So there is no swap. Now in next phase, which elements are going to compare? 4 and 1. So now see, 4 and 1. So which is the smallest element now? So is 4 is less than 1? No. So 4 is greater element than the 1. So now the condition is true, there is a swap. So now 1 is swapped with 4. See here, 1 is placed here, 4 is placed there. So now coming to end of this pass, which element is placed? The second smallest element is placed in its position. Okay. So now coming to the third pass. These two elements are already sorted. So now coming to the remaining elements. So pass 3. So now this one is the selected element now. So now the second selected element is compared with next element. So 6 greater than 5. So now the condition is, so this one is greater than the found element. So the condition is true. So there is a swap. So now 5 is swapped with 6. So 5, 6. So now the 5 is compared with next element. So now 5 is less than 8. So now the condition is false. There is no swap. See here. Now the comparison with next element, that is 5 with 4. So now 5 greater than 4. So now the condition is true. So there is a swap, because this is higher element than the found element. So 4, 5 are swapped here. So is there any elements to compare? No. So after the completion of this pass, the next smallest element will be placed in its position. Okay. Next, coming to the next pass. So up to here sorted. Okay. So now the comparisons are made with remaining 3 elements. So now which one is the selected element? This one. So that selected element is compared with next element. Is 6 is greater than or lesser than the 8? So 6 is less than the 8. So no need to swap. Now coming to the next comparison. The selected element is compared with 5. So now 6 is greater than 5 now. So because this is smaller element. So now the condition is true. So there is a swap. So if you have any doubt while comparison, you have to check these conditions. Okay. So now true, there is a swap. See here, 5 is here and 6 is there. Okay. So now all the comparisons are closed. Now the next smallest element is placed in its position. Okay. Now coming to the next pass, that is pass 5. So in the pass 5, we have to compare only 2 elements. Okay. So 8 is compared with 6. Here 8 is greater than 6. Because the condition is true, there is a swap. Because this is less element. So now 6 is placed here and 8 is placed here. So there is no elements to compare next. So that's why the next element is placed in its position, and then only one element. So there is no comparison is possible with the one element. So next the next element is placed in its position. So now the entire list is sorted. So with the help of this, we have to conclude with the complexity. So in this selection sort also, the first array element means the first selected element is compared with remaining all elements. Remaining all elements means if suppose the size of the array is n, the selected element is lost already. Means how many elements we have to compare here? N minus 1 elements. So now it starts with n minus 1. So likewise it have to stop at 1. So again the formula is n into n minus 1 by 2. So again what is the complexity for this selection sort is also big O of n square. So see here, now previously bubble sort, selection sort, insertion sort. So all these sorts are done with the numerical way. So what about the character sorting? So we did any characters sorted in previous one? No. So how the character sorting will done? So see here, any type of sorting you have to use, no problem. Either bubble sort, selection sort or insertion sort. But what is the logic behind this character sorting is, if you sort these two elements, how you will compare? In case of numerics, we will compare 4 is greater than 5 or 4 is less than 5. But in case of characters, how you will compare means compared with ASCII values. So the ASCII values of these two are compared logically or inside the system. So then move to one place to another place. So what is the ASCII value for capital D? What is the ASCII value for capital A? 65. Means what is the ASCII value for capital D? 68. Is it right? So now comparison is done with the ASCII values 68, 65. So which one is greater? The same way of numerical sorting. So but inside the computer, the numerical values of the characters, those are ASCII values. The ASCII value comparison is done with the character sorting. So you have to use any one of the sorting technique, then you compared with these characters. So now see, after the sorting of this character list is placed here. So now it is the time to take some assignment questions. See here, define sorting and explain its types, why we need to sort. Okay, so explain the bubble sort, insertion sort and selection sort. 3 sorting with the following example. One example is with numerical values and one more example with character list. Okay, there is a possibility to ask questions like what is the pass? Okay, so we are done with these 3 sorts. While sorting these one, passes we have to mention. So in the examination there is a chance to ask the how many pass, what is the output. So that's why I have to mention this question. What is the second pass of 3 sorts while sorting this example? Okay, so these assignment questions you have to practice. Then you have to make a better understanding with these sortings. Thank you.